I'm Joe Tamburino, and I'm the General Counsel for the Minnesota Fraternal Order of Police. We're a fraternal organization in Minnesota representing police officers and retirees throughout the state. Well, the difference between our plan, our legal defense plan here in Minnesota, and the national plan is that we are more comprehensive. The national plan is a very good plan, and it covers on-duty activity normally, such as if you had criminal investigations on duty, excessive use of force, officer-involved shooting, things along those lines. But actually in Minnesota's FOP plan, we cover things that are off duty for the most part and some administrative matters that occur on duty but are outside of a union contract. We cover many things in Minnesota. For instance, if you, as a police officer or a retiree or a police officer's spouse, has a criminal matter outside of the department, we cover that. Or if you're a police officer, member, or a retiree, and you have some type of restraining order issue, such as an order for protection, harassment restraining order, we cover that. Or if you have what's called a Brady-Giglio issue, meaning that you're a police officer and some department or prosecutor's office is threatening to put you on a Brady list. Or if you have an issue with the post board. Or if you have some type of administrative issue that again is not covered by a labor union or collective bargaining agreement. In general, about half of our cases involve administrative matters. You'll have someone who has a situation on the job, perhaps it's not covered by a labor agreement, so they come to us. The other half are usually very minor criminal matters, perhaps some criminal investigations, and then some restraining orders. Unfortunately, in today's world, people go to the court seeking restraining orders on matters where really it's not necessary. And obviously that affects police officers. And specifically when you get into areas such as orders for protection. Because, as we all know, if a police officer gets an order for protection against them, that affects their right to carry a firearm, which is obviously an essential thing for them to have if they want to continue to be a police officer. Title IX investigations, those pertain to situations involving universities and colleges, post-board matters, all of these types of things that are outside on-duty activity. Our coverage in Wisconsin is for the 6 western counties that border Minnesota, ranging all the way from up in Douglas County, which is Superior, Wisconsin, going down to Pepin County, which is a little further south than, say, Ellsworth, Wisconsin. The FOP is a very important organization. It's a fraternal organization that truly looks out for the best interest of police officers in Minnesota. It's a very unique group of individuals who every day think about what police officers are going through here in Minnesota. And I find this work to be very fulfilling. When you do this type of work as an attorney, you're not doing it for the money. Rather, you're doing it because you want to help the people out there who are trying to protect the public. What the best case scenario would be for any member is to have both plans, both the national plan as well as the state plan. Why? Because then you're fully covered. Because then if there's an issue pertaining to something on the job, you could go to the national plan. If there's an issue for something outside of the job, you could go to the state plan. We have 6 attorneys here at Tamburino Law Group, and we also have plenty of staff. We've got our administrative assistants, office managers, paralegals, so it's a very well-staffed, very boutique type of law firm. Well, the big cases and high-profile cases stretch all the way back to 1989. After I graduated New York University in 1986, I went to the University of Minnesota Law School and graduated there in 1989. I spent a year at the Anoka County Attorney's Office, the prosecutor's office, and after that, I went into defense and started doing all types of criminal defense. And then approximately 10-15 years ago, I branched out into personal injury cases. But the cases that I've represented go all over the board. I have represented people who were charged with things like triple homicide to all the way down to things like careless driving. So there's really not a criminal case that I haven't had experience with. Unfortunately, the trends for law enforcement is that some prosecutor offices have a target on certain individuals or certain police departments, meaning that they are heavily scrutinized. The other problem that is facing police officers is all of the recordings that happen in the public. Unfortunately, when a police officer is trying to do his or her job on the street, many times, and this is unfortunate, they have to deal with people who are literally feet away from them, recording them with cell phones, yelling at them, taunting them. And this is a major issue, and it's a serious issue. So yes, the police are being scrutinized by prosecutor offices as well as being heavily monitored by certain individuals on the street. Yes, we're always available for questions and other matters, even if we don't cover them. Here's some good examples. For instance, we don't practice workers' compensation. However, we will get calls, and then we could direct you to attorneys who do that. We don't cover medical malpractice, but we sure know a lot of attorneys who do, and we could get you in the right direction. We don't cover family law, divorces, child issues. But again, we could get you in the right direction. What we do cover is we cover everything dealing with criminal investigations and criminal charges, as well as personal injury. If you want to talk to us about a personal injury case, that's not part of the FOP plan, but we'd be happy to do so. And if you ever wanted us to represent you on that and retain us, again, we'd be happy to do so. And you will get access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 365 days a year. Obviously, you go to the FOP, the Legal Defense Plan, and if you need to talk to me or one of my associates, you can. We're always available.